Hello my creatures, Christina here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to do an easy one-piece silicone mold that is super affordable and really easy to do. So the product we're using for today's video is by Smooth On, and the product line is called Umu. Now this product is really affordable, so if you're not looking to spend a lot of money, I would suggest trying this product out, especially if you're a beginner. You don't need to use any vacuuming whatsoever. You don't even need a scale, and like I said, it is really easy to use. It is a 1-to-1 ratio, and it's just a really versatile product for smaller objects. Now this product doesn't have a very good tear strength, so if you're looking for something with a little bit more strength, I would suggest trying another one of their products, which is called Mold Star or even Mold Max, and they have all different cure times and pot life. The products are endless, so definitely check their website out, and no, I am not getting paid by them. Let's just make that clear. So let's get started. So like I said, this is a one-piece silicone mold. Now typically when you're looking for things to mold, you want to look for stuff with a flat bottom, like this candle for example. You could even mold this rubber ducky because it has a nice smooth flat bottom. Or you could mold something like this really decorative cross. Like I said, you just want to make sure that you have some very flat surface that is going to be exposed for you to pour your other materials in. When you glue this down to your foam board, that you are going to be sealing those edges all the way around so that no silicone will actually leak underneath and ruin your mold. In today's video, I'm actually going to be molding this little mad ball that I sculpted a few years ago, and like you see, it has a flat bottom, so I'll be gluing the bottom and then gluing that down onto my foam board. So these are some of the things that you may need. Some foam board. Now this is 20 by 30 by 3/16 inch white foam board. You can pick this up at a local art supply store. It's really cheap. You're going to need a measuring utensil. I'm using a roller. You can easily use a tape measure. You are going to need some vinyl gloves. Now it is very important that you use vinyl gloves when working with silicone because it can actually affect your cure time. You are going to need a mixing container and some stir sticks. Now you can get some measuring cups, but I don't like to purchase much. I like to reuse stuff. So if you have something that you can reuse or mix in, save it. You are going to need some scissors and or a utility knife. This is a box cutter, but a utility knife works just as fine. Just be safe, please, as I'm pointing this thing at my face. You are going to need a glue gun and some glue sticks. You are also going to possibly need either some Ease Release 200 by Man or some crystal clear enamel. You are also going to need some protective clothing. I am wearing this Dexter apron. This protects me from all the spills because silicone does not come out of clothing. Just try not to get it on anything. Also, the area that you're going to be working on, make sure to put down some plastic. In this case, I'm using a piece of drywall. So you want to place your object on your foam core, and you want to basically look down at your sculpture or whatever you're molding and look at the horizon of your mold. The horizon is actually, when looking at the object from the center top, you're going to see, you see this outside rim? That is your horizon.
Now you're going to be measuring from your horizon out. In this case, I'm going to be measuring out 1.5 inches. Once my walls are up, it'll be more like 1 inch, but I just want to make this mold a little bit stronger because the tear resistance is very low, and you could also do 1/2 inch if you really wanted to save more material, but I'd say anywhere from 1 inch to 1/2 inch is perfectly fine. You want to grab your roller and you want to measure about 1.5 inches out from the factory edge. I'm about right there when looking down at it at the horizon. The video seems like I'm farther out, but when you have it tilted like this and I'm looking down center, you can see that is actually 1.5 inches to the factory edge. You're also going to do it on the sides. So I'm going to measure out 1.5 inches, and I'm going to mark my foam board. Once again, on the other side, and mark it. Now that I've got all my marks, what I basically need to do is just measure from dot to dot. So I'm going to measure and mark 5 3/4. Let's just say this is my factory edge. I'm going to mark 5 3/4 here. And since we're center, it should be 5 3/4 this way as well. So I'm going to mark it here. Do the same on the other side. And basically, you want to connect the lines. This is going to be right in the center, and then we build our walls. So with building the walls up, we're going to use the same method, but when you're building your walls up, you could actually only go up about 1/2 inch to 1 inch, but I'm just going to keep everything simple and the same. So my object is at 3 inches, so I would simply add another 1.5 inches, which would be 4.5 inches. Now I'm going to cut my foam in a long strip at 4.5 inches. I measured 4.5 inches and I took it all the way down my foam board piece and just made a big long piece that I was going to cut from. Now these are basically the walls, and I'm going to show you right now what this is. I put this together already, and you're just going to be building walls around your base. Now the first piece, since it is 5 3/4 across, you don't want to be exactly the same on your first one. You like to overestimate, so maybe add about 1 inch. And what you do is you're just going to overlap each piece, meaning you put the first piece in, and then you add the other piece, which will also be a little bit longer, and then you add your other piece, which will be longer, and then your final piece will actually fit right in the center. That will be your snug fit, and that in the center is, I think, 5.5, so it'll actually be just under what your original measurement will be. And this is actually going to go right on top. And what I did is I just took my glue gun and I glued up each seam, making sure that when looking down at it, my walls are nice and straight. Also, when you're gluing your walls together, if you're using a factory edge on your foam board, make sure that all the factory edges are on one side. So when you do place this on your base, you have a nice, secure, clean fit. Now, I mean, glue will pretty much fill those gaps in, but just to be extra careful, just use the factory edge so that you know that it's a nice clean fit. And what I'm going to do, I am going to fit this on here and basically glue all around my edges. And I'm going to do that to all 4 sides. It is pretty much all glued up, and just make sure you go around and look at your corners and your base and make sure that all the seams are glued together nice and tightly. And you've got your box mold. Another option that you can use is what I like, the recycling option. You can take old plastic containers and reuse them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut where the dome parts kind of stops. And I'm going to take my razor knife and just kind of cut through the plastic all the way around. Please be very careful when doing this. So once again, you're going to need a base for this, and that's why we have basically our walls now. So what you're going to need to do is actually, with the cut end up, if you need to cut it for any reason, make sure that one is obviously straighter, because this is going to be like impossible to seal. So what we're going to do is flip it upside down. We're going to center it onto our board, and once again we're going to take some hot glue and glue up those edges. Now once you've got your container glued securely all the way around, it's very important that you make sure that it is completely sealed all the way around so we don't have any silicone actually leak through. The next part is really easy. We're going to basically put some hot glue right on the outside area. You can put some in the middle too, but right on the outside area that basically you don't want to show up in your mold. And this is basically going to secure this to the board and also keep silicone from running underneath of it. And we're going to place this right in the center. Be sure to press down hard. Once it's nice and secure, it should look similar to this.